Yet when it comes back to the beliefs, like it's so vital, because what if business, what if your entrepreneurship could be fun? Like, I really believe that so many business people have taken the fun out of business. Like, it's no longer fun. It becomes a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And 99.9% of the time when it first started, it was for the joy of it.
For sure.
It was for the joy of it. They really used to enjoy it and all these things. And yes, I know it starts to get maybe sometimes a little more complicated, because now we're looking at all kinds of different things and budgets and blah 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 and all this. But what is the sense of actually having a business or anything in life
If you're not enjoying it.
that if you're not enjoying it?
And what would be your suggestion? So if you have someone, you're a mindset consultant, and you have someone in front of you who's exhibiting this kind of or sharing this kind of issue, what would be your suggestion to them?
Well, there'll be a number of things. I would find out why they're doing the business that they're doing. What was the original intention behind the business? I think what is very important to look at as well, and is essential for any entrepreneur to look at in the very beginning of their business, is to look at their values and what's important to them. Because if fun is an important aspect of is a value, fun is a value, right? So if fun is an important value to you and has always been an important value to you, then you're going to want to implement it in anything in your life, including your business. If honesty, integrity, all of these values, looking at these values and seeing what's being authentic, being true to yourself. How many business people have gone down a road where they don't even feel like they can act like themselves anymore? They have to dress in a certain way, they need to talk in a certain way, they need to be driving a certain car, they need to be on all these things that are all facades, denying them actually being authentic to themselves. And when you start to move yourself away from this authenticity of who you truly are, things become incongruent. And this is where the stress starts. Because now you're doing things, you're taking action on things that you really don't even want to be doing. So we really got to go back, if I'm going to work with someone, and say, okay, so what are your core values? What are the values you truly want to align with? Are you aligning with these values in your business? Why do you want to be doing the business that you're doing? Because if you're doing your business simply transactional, if it's just about making the profit and all that, not saying that that's not important, because if a business is going to survive, it needs to make a profit. Like, that's another thing that sometimes people will go to this other extreme, right? Where oh, money's not important. No, money is still important. Like, we wouldn't be doing a podcast if money wasn't involved in it, because you need stuff, you need equipment, you need time, it's still important. And think about it this way as well, from a mindset perspective. If you're always saying, and people do this, right? They don't even realize, they say, oh, money's not important. Money's not important. Money's not important. What's the belief? Money's not important. How do you expect to receive money if money's not important to you? How long could you say to people, my girlfriend's not important. My girlfriend's not important. Until your girlfriend goes, like, dude, if I'm not important, see you later.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. Because what you're transmitting out into the universe, out into the world, is what you're going to get back.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to look at that balance and decide, okay, so what are the values? Why are you doing this business? What was the original reason you started the business? Well, I originally started this business because I had a real passion for, I don't know, sneakers. And I really love the fact that I could get a great pair of sneakers and sell them to people so that they could be comfortable, so they could really enjoy whatever. So now we're talking about, okay, so you wanted to have an impact. You wanted to have some sort, okay, is that still there? Or have you lost that? Or have you lost that joy? And ultimately, and this is, where I want to bring people to understand, is that it really is about the joy of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
It's insignificant. It's really outside of, what are the words I want to use here? It's really It doesn't make sense to be on a journey that you're not enjoying.
Yes,
It's
100%.
just not, it doesn't make sense whatsoever, because in the bigger scheme of things, you're going to get to, the person's going to get to the end of their life, and they're still going to die. They're still going to be going, what
did
was
I
this
do?
for? What was this all for? What was I doing all this for? Supposedly to reach some destination and then potentially be happy, when that's never going to happen.
I think the key word here is change, because it's a very broad
Yeah,
term.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'll explain myself. Because when an entrepreneur starts a business, and this is what I see with my clients, is that when an entrepreneur starts a business, 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, in 10 years, in 15 years, their role in the business changed. And if they're not changing alongside the business and the business's priorities, they either outgrow the business themselves or the business outgrows them.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not be the right person now to manage the business.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult decision, because even if you're the founder, you might be part of the board, for example, or the executive body, or become just a stakeholder or a shareholder for that matter. So your role has to change depending on the energy, and you might have to leave the baton to someone else at that point in time. It's a very difficult position. So either you change alongside the business, or else you will be outdated. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because sometimes you might have done something for 10, 15 years and it doesn't fill you up with joy anymore.
Well, yeah, and so this is really interesting, and I'll tell you, really interesting.